Good evening, all. I just thought I'd give you a little tour of mainly the campervan and also a bit of the surrounding areas that I'm staying in currently, which is absolutely stunning. Nice little find. It's a little gem I found on an app. I belong to the Camping and Caravan Club, and this was on their app. So, yeah, nice little stopover. So I thought I'd use this time, as it's my last night here, to give you a little tour of Valentine. So here we go. She's a Fiat Ducato 10 1.9 turbo diesel. She's very well equipped, and when I bought her, she didn't have anything in her, no accessories or anything. So I actually even started to buy things before I even got a camper van, because I knew that it was something I really wanted. So I thought, right, get on to online shopping and start getting some bits each week. Obviously on one of those well-known shopping sites, beginning with T and ending in U. You know the one I mean. So I just thought I'd give you a little tour of her interior and how things work, and what I found out, what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, so she's deceptively big, actually. She's probably about, I don't know, about 5.6 meters long. They're actually built on a Ducato, Fiat Ducato chassis, which is a commercial vehicle, but with a camper van box, if you like, on it. So it's a coach built, which means it was built as a camper van, but on a commercial chassis. I've been told as well that these Fiat Ducato engines are pretty much bulletproof because they're commercial. They're used to doing heavy jobs and lots of miles, and their engines are very basic. Apparently a diesel engine is a lot more basic and less complicated than a petrol engine. So repairs and things are generally a little bit cheaper because there's less labour involved. So very robust engine, and the interior is, like I say, very, very deceptive. Didn't have anything in it. She was just empty cupboards and no accessories, like I said. And so I started to collect things before I bought her. And I particularly like the blue as well. So that was a bonus, because in some camper vans, or motorhomes, they come with some hideous upholstery, which is usually either salmon, pink or orange, which is not my cup of tea. Anyway, so quick tour. And for those of you who are interested in potentially getting a camper van or motorhome, either soon or in the future, is research is what I spent many hours, days, weeks, months on YouTube, campervan Facebook groups. I downloaded lots of apps and things. So yeah, trying to find one that is suited what my needs were, really. I think that's quite crucial. You've got to think about what layout you want, etc. Originally, I was going to go for the auto sleeper, Peugeot Boxer auto sleeper, with the side sliding door. But however, you lose that space where the door is. So in this particular one, the advantage is that you've got the two bench seats opposite each other, then slide out to make a generous size double bed. So we'll start at the beginning, so without me falling backwards and breaking my neck. So you've got the step that pulls out, and then you go in. She's got a stable door as well, which is really handy, so you can have the top part open and the bottom part closed, especially if you've got a dog. So that's pretty good, or a small child. So in here we've got a wardrobe, which I've got my few bits in. Let me just zoom out a bit. I feel like I'm actually inside it. That's better. So it's got a hanging rail, and here behind my jumper here is a stowaway table, which comes out and folds out, and you put in the middle of the seating area. so when you're dining, etc. Accessory wise, I've bought a trolley, one of those trolleys you see people going on the beach with, etc. It's not a particularly big one, because what I was finding is when I was packing her up to go away or for the night, I was having to make several trips into the flat to grab everything. So that's been really handy. I've also got a little, I can't know if I can find it, but these are some of my purchases I've made as well. But in there actually is a little Hoover that plugs into the cigarette lighter, and I got that off that very famous online shop beginning with T and ending in U. Yeah, lovely little sign my good friend Nadine bought me, so that's perfect, sums it up absolutely perfectly. So here we go, starting with the cooker. A lot of camper vans or motorhomes only got a 2 ring, but this one has got the 4, which is really handy, so you can have several things cooking at once. Bought my little Temu kettle, which when I opened it before I got the campervan, I found that really funny because it was tiny, but in fact it's perfect because it boils approximately 2 cups of tea or water for 2 cups of tea or coffee. And in fact it makes absolute sense, because what you need to do is you need to conserve your gas usage, so only boiling water for what you need. So that's perfect. And yeah, it hasn't got a whistle on it, but yeah. So 4 gas rings, like I said, and then they've got this oven which is quite generous size, and yeah, it cooks really quick. First time I did a pizza and it burnt it. I didn't expect it to take as little time as it did, but yeah, so it's quite good. It's got all safety features on it, so you have to push in the knobs to release the gas so that you don't, well, gas yourself. Yeah, so there's that there. And then underneath you've got a cupboard. So much storage in here, it's unbelievable. But in the cupboard I've got all my toiletries all stowed away, all my cleaners and sponges and, oh yeah, toilet cleaner stuff. So yeah, that's really handy. And I've also, as well, on that famous online shopping app, is they do a lot of collapsible things, which is great for storage, collapsible bowls, etc. Yeah, so another little storage cupboard here. Again, generous size, can put all your pots and pans in it, which I haven't actually filled up fully yet, so that's good. Still got plenty of extra space there. Under here you've got your gas valves, which you open and close when you want to use it. So the top ones being the cooker, the middle one is for the heating, but I don't use that, and then the bottom one is for your fridge, so that's good. And then I always make sure, like when I've finished it, I haven't on that one, but as I switch it to the up position, and that's turned that valve off, so no gas is going through to the van at the moment. The gas cylinders located in a little cupboard outside with a regulator on it, and you can turn it off and on, turn it on and off from that as well, which I always do at night, because I have got this thing about leaving gas appliances on, so I switch everything off at night. She's got fly screens, which is handy, especially when you're out in the countryside with all the midges and things. A cupboard here that I got, which has got all my little essentials in. It's got a little repair kit thing in here, which has got little screwdrivers and stuff. My good friend Nadine put me which I love. It's like a medicine bag with your essentials in, you know, like plasters and headache tablets or whatever. And then these really handy collapsible mixing bowls, or whatever bowls you want to use them for. So they're really handy, and they don't take up any space at all. And I save all my carrier bags and things. Moving along to this one is where I keep all my bowls. Obviously things do get thrown about a bit when you're driving along, so obviously plastic is more sensible. Making sure they're all packed tightly together before you move off, just to save all the cluttering and stuff about when you're driving along. So yeah, that's the tea and coffee and plate bowl drawer cupboard. Sink, love this. This was from that famous online shopping app. when I opened it, it was hilarious because it was tiny, but in fact it fits perfectly in there, and all you're really using it for is to wash up a cup or a plate, so that's absolutely ample. Let's just move that cup. This folds down to like a worktop, so it gives you a little bit of extra space as well. And then also what it does do, which I have to move that out of the way, is I lift that up, and there's like a little catch on it, and then you've got your draining board. Another thing I've found, because I'm finding things as I go along, I'm discovering things and how things work and how things don't. But to make sure that everything, you're pretty much as level as you can be, because if you're washing up and your van's not level, then all your washing up water is going to go over the side. But what I do is I just put a J cloth over the top, and it soaks it up anyway. So yeah, trying to get the van. You can buy like these, I don't know what they're called, like a wheel wedge things that you put under the front of the van, and you get a little leveler to make sure that your van's level. Lovely little sign I got from my good friend and colleague at work, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda, that's great. And then for a little touch, so you got these lights, but I don't use them. I've got these lovely little fairy lights here, which give you enough light at night. So that's quite pretty. And this bunting, I love this. My good friend Karen bought me this, and it's perfect. Because for those who know me, I love the sea and the beach and everything, so I went with the beachy theme, so that's really, really cute. So yeah, more cupboards here. This has got my cups and stuff in. These obviously are ceramic because I can't drink out of plastic cups, but what I do before I set off is I just put some kitchen roll around them and stuff to keep them secure, and so they're not clanking and cluttering into each other. This is my food. Do excuse this because this got thrown around a bit today, but this is where I keep my food, snacks and stuff like that. I'm running everything down now, so there's only bits and pieces left. And in this cupboard, it's just like my odds and sods kind of cupboard with little handy things, and where I keep, yeah, just odds and ends really. She's actually classed as a 3 person's camper van. This area up here is actually a bunk, so for a small child. However, she's only got 2 seatbelts, so I wouldn't, you know, I have no desire to have any further seatbelts in, so I use that as storage for my bedding. So yeah, I got a mattress, really nice thick mattress topper in here, and then obviously my duvet and bedding in there, and then my clothes are in here. You got these little handy little holders here that you can put your bits and pieces in, newspapers, magazines or whatever. I just use that for the lights, and this side as well, and more of this bunting going along here, which is really a lovely effect. Even more storage, we've got one here. In here, what I've bought is these windscreen shields. They're like a thermal covering, basically. They're silver fronted, and they've got like these sticky suction pad things on them, and you put them in the windscreen. They're specifically for this van, so they fit perfectly for the side windows and the front window, and it helps to keep it cool, and also to keep it warm as well, because they're thermal, so it works for winter and for summer. Another little storage cabinet where I put my towels in and my toiletries, etc. Yep, so that's another little cupboard there. Again, a lot of this stuff is from home in there, but and in here it's just some little trinkety bits, you know, some lanterns and stuff. I bought a wireless speaker because the car stereo is not great sound, so I bought that. This, you are probably wondering why I've got a flower pot, a terracotta flower pot in my cupboard. Well, this is actually a source of heating, right? It's a great idea. I remember my brother sending me this link years ago because I lived in a cottage with a really cold kitchen and no heating in it. So he sent me the link to this, and you've probably seen it since. But what you do is you turn the terracotta pot upside down, and you put it in a heat-proof dish, and then you put 3 or 4 tea lights underneath, and that hole at the top really emits a lot of heat. So it's good to take off the cold edge of, it doesn't particularly get cold in here, but if it is a particularly chilly night or evening, you can put that on, and it really does make a difference. So yeah, that's a really good tip. Plus, I'm not using any gas to heat. So yeah, that's a good environmentally friendly source of heating, I'd say. Up here we've got the control panel, which took me a little while to figure out. I'm not one to read instructions, so I just kind of like look at something and think, right, that goes like that, that goes like that. At the moment I'm on 240 volt, so I've got a 240 volt hookup lead, and it's like a trick box here. So you switch it on, you switch on what buttons you want. So I've got the socket on and I've got the fridge on, and then you turn on your mains switch there. You have a leisure battery. Now your leisure battery provides you with 12 volt worth of electricity, which isn't a great deal, but it will operate your lights, the ceiling lights. So I rarely use that because I use my own source of lighting, which is the fairy lights. But it's also got a test switch on it. So you can, if you switch it to van, and then you press water, it'll show you if your water tank's full. Mine's not, and I'll tell you why that's not in a minute. And then you can test your battery. So my leisure battery, as you can see, is fully powered, and then I switch that back off again. This one here is for your internal pump. So in the water tank, there's a pump, and if you want to run a tap, then obviously you switch it to internal. The external pump does the opposite, so it's to suck the water, dirty water out. But again, I'm not using that, but I'll tell you why in a minute. And this is where all your fuses are. And on here, it will tell you, there's a little test button there, and it will tell you if there's anything tripping or not working, and da-da-da-da. It's like a little warning sign, I suppose, a little indicator of what's not and what's not working. In here as well, I forgot to show you as well, is on the roof, there's an aerial, and that's the aerial box, junction box. In here is actually for your TV, 12 volt TV, which I haven't got. I don't intend to watch TV when I'm away, but that is where you'd put it. You'd put it on the stand like that, and you put the TV, you stow it away in there. But I use it as actually a drinks cabinet, which is handy. Still full, so yeah, not a great massive drinker, but it's nice there to have a gin and tonic if you fancied one. And then here is all your like controls, your 240 socket, which will run your you could have a hairdryer in it, you could have anything that, you know, an iron, or even a as long as just 240 volt lead is hooked up, you could even have a little small air fryer in here as well. TV aerial, that's for your heating, but I haven't used it. I have no intention of using it. And this is an inverter. So an inverter is where it can convert 12 volt electricity into 240. But for some reason that's not working. And I looked it up, and it's meant to only work when you're going along anyway. But I don't bother using that. Bought these little plants off that famous app, beginning with T and ending in U, just for a little homey touch. And I've created a little library, so when you're chilling out, you can pick a book and you can sit and read it. Sorry, I got a tickly cough. And a candle there just for this I got off that famous app, which is a rechargeable lamp. So if I switch it on like that, tap it, it's got quite a bright light, and then you've got it onto a nice dim light. So that's handy. So again, you're not using your leisure battery for lighting. Here I've got a drawer for your excuse me. Here you've got a drawer for your cutlery, etc. Again, bought my stuff off that famous online shop, beginning with T and ending in U. And this is the three-way fridge. Now, a three-way fridge means, for those who don't know, is it works off 3 sources of power. So it can work off gas, electric, or 12 volt. The gas I have had using on it, it's a little bit temperamental, slightest breeze and it blows it out. But basically, there's a switch there that you switch on, which starts to flicker. You hold in the gas pipe, well, the gas dial, which then releases the gas. And in the corner, right at the back of the fridge, there's a little tiny round window, if you like, and it shows you when there's a flame. So that works off gas, but it can be a little bit temperamental. At the moment, it's going on the 240, so it's nice and cold. So I've got my food and on my fridge, and it's got a little freezer in the back there as well, which keeps things nice and ice cold. Thermostat on there, and let's switch that back on actually. And then this one here is your 12 volt. Now your 12 volt, which I discovered because things I've found out along the way, but you switch that on. So if you're at home and you're going off somewhere in the camper van and you need to keep your milk cold and you're on a long journey, you switch it to 12 volt and it runs off your car battery or your leisure battery, and it just keeps it cold until you get where you're getting. But it won't work when the engine's not running. So yeah, so at the moment I've got it on 12 volt. When I'm just staying overnight and I don't want to use the gas, I don't have 240 hookup, and I can't operate the 12 volt, what I do is I buy a big bag of ice from the supermarket, whatever, because these are very well insulated, and as soon as that door's shut, that bag of ice will last 24 hours, and everything in there, even more than 24 hours actually, I still, when I come back from the next day, it's still partly frozen. So it's a really good way of keeping things cold overnight. Okay, so we got like an air vent here that opens and that pops up to give you a bit of air ventilation. It's a little bit, this was broken, but I've managed to fix it, but it should work on a spring, so it should slide backwards and forwards easily, but it's not. But so I just keep it like that because I don't want to break it anymore. Yeah, so that is that. In here, added bonus, if you've got your shower and your toilet. Let me just switch the light on. Right, so you've got a shower and toilet in here. This needs a little bit of attention in here, but I've been kind of concentrating on mechanical things at the moment, but I will get round to sorting things out that aren't particularly working, or there's a few things that need doing on the inside. So but to just give you an idea, this is a sink, which is fantastic. It stows away, so I take this off and it goes down and you've got a sink. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I don't use it again because at the moment I can't seem to get any water running to it. But again, there's another reason for that, and I'll explain again in a minute. And the thing is with showers, these are fine in camper vans for like a last resort, because my thinking is that you don't really want to be using too much of it because it can create damp. And when a camper van or caravan or motorhome has a damp issue, it puts people off. So I'm really trying not to use it even if it was working. Might use it to sort of wash my hair maybe, but at the moment I'm just thinking, just leave it. I won't show you the toilet, as in because you don't really want to see a toilet, but literally you open that valve, it opens a flap at the bottom, you have your wee, and then I'm using that canister there to just rinse around. But wherever you're parked up, there's generally a public toilet, but obviously it doesn't always go to plan, does it? So yeah, so that's the bathroom. Let's switch that light back off. So yeah, so I've got all my little bits in there. Look at that view, beautiful. Right, so coming on to the seating area, so I bought these cushion covers off eBay shop. The actual original cushion covers were the same as this, and I just wanted to add a little bit of personal touches. So I like the fishy theme, the oceans theme, so I went with that. They're really, really nice. So the bed moves out, so if I just give it a little demonstration, you just pull that forward and it drops down, and then you do the same on the other side. So there you got your nice double bed. Oh my god, now I can't get it back up. But what it does also do is it can go down to 2 singles. So this moves out slightly, that back bit drops down, so it gives you a little bit of a bumper. And then these seats, very cleverly, they're known as captain seats, swivel round. So you put your head this end and then your feet go on the chair end. So that's a really, really good thing. And also as well, by turning these seats round, it really opens it up even more. So you could easily have 6 people sitting in here with your table up, entertaining, which is great. So yeah, the curtains were already made for her. I was thinking of changing them, but actually I quite like them. Just need to get a few little extra hooks, which I've lost along the way. Yeah, so got my camping chairs stowed away behind here, but there is under the seat storage as well. But because I'm often using them, I just stow them away behind the seat for easy to get hold of. This blanket, absolutely love it. It's a teddy bear blanket. Got that from Dunelm, £2.95. Can you believe that? But yeah, it's lovely, slush. So yeah, so that's the interior. Going into the cab side, there's not a lot really to show, other than you've got curtains with a curtain rail. These curtains go all the way around the cab. So all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. So, and with my silver-backed thermal stick-on thermal sunscreen, it acts as extra insulation and privacy and darkness, etc., etc. Yeah, so got my steering lock. That is also essential. The reason being is because when it comes to campervan and motorhome insurance, they insist on certain things. Otherwise, in the small print, if you read it, did you have a steering lock fitted, and you say no, well, sorry, we're not paying out then. So the more security that you add to it, the better. Took me ages to figure it out, honestly, because every way I put it, you could get it off, but I figured it out. You have to turn the wheel slightly to the right or the left, then put it on so it catches against the windscreen. So if someone did try to break in and it had a steering lock, they wouldn't be able to move the steering wheel because it's against the window. So, and it's also a visual thing as well, so it's very good for visual security. So if you see one of them on it, they think, oh, sod that, I'm going to be tampering around that for ages trying to get that off. It's not impossible not to, if they've got a hacksaw or drill or whatever tool, but it's still a deterrent. Yeah, so yeah, she's absolutely great to drive. I love it. It doesn't scare me at all. She's big. She's 3,600 kilograms, so she's quite hefty. She's very heavy, but a lot of people think, oh no, I can't drive a big vehicle, but actually you are, apart from obviously allowing a little bit of extra space when you're overtaking parked cars or whatever, and etc., etc., you have got a much higher view than a car has, so you see a more than a car in front of you do. And it also it's a confidence thing as well, because you feel stronger, you feel safer, and I'd feel definitely safer in a truck than I would in a small car, because it's robust. It's, you've got plenty of machinery, and not machinery but bodywork around you, and so yeah, and you just take it easy. I mean, 55 miles an hour. She wanted to go faster than that. She quite comfortably, we would have gone 60. But what you've got to consider, which I have found out on this trip, is that when it comes to going to junctions and roundabouts, you've got to give yourself extra time to slow down, because she's a lot of weight to stop quickly. So yeah, and what I also found as well with drivers behind you, they're impatient because they're right up your backside. Well, I don't care. If I'm doing 42 and a 50, or if I'm doing a 52 and a 60, it's you going to be worse off, because you're going to end up in my living room if you don't slow down or be a bit more patient. So you've got to go at a comfortable speed, and people behind you have just got to be patient, So I know that's changed my view, because we've all sat in traffic, we've all been toodling along as a camper van or tractor in front of you, and we're, oh, for God's sake, but there's a reason for that, and I've discovered that this week, is that you just need to be a bit extra careful. So I bought this onto another purchase I got. This is amazing, because obviously this is an old vehicle. It won't have built-in media centers, etc., etc. But this is brilliant. I bought this online. It was £100, and it's a sat nav, but it connects to your phone. So apps that you've got on your phone, um, and it connects to Bluetooth, apps that you've got on your phone, except for Netflix and things like that, because you wouldn't be able to watch them anyway driving along. But things like Google Maps, Spotify, anything like that, it's brilliant. And also on her, if I just take it back again, you won't be able to see it because the door's open, but it's also, which I installed all this wiring around, is it's got a reverse, it won't show it because obviously the door's open. So there's a rear camera so I can see who's behind me, because your vision is slightly, compared to a car, is more less obvious, because you've got the door at the rear, which is your, obviously your rear door to the camper van itself, that you can't really see out of, and you've got your side mirrors which you can see behind you. But having that is, not only is it good for reversing because you've got that extra length that you've got to consider, but also you can see who's behind you. So you quickly switch it to reverse camera and you can see who's behind you. And it's also got on there a dash cam. But I haven't got a memory card in it at the moment, but I will get one. So it's recording everything. So yeah, it's a really, really good bit of techno for me. It works on Android and it also works on Apple, and it's got CarPlay and it's got Apple iPlay if you have that. So yeah, it's brilliant. It checks the weather. Yeah, it does all the little functions that I haven't done all of yet, but it works on, obviously, GPS. Excuse me. Right. This is my headphones. No, I don't listen to headphones as I'm driving along, but I'll go walking and I like to put my headphones on. So that's it. This is Valentine interior, her functions, and I absolutely love her. And I've really enjoyed these last few days away. It was a big confidence thing for me as well, because obviously it's the first time I've done any sort of long excuse me. Oh, so sorry. It's really the first time I've done any long miles in her since I bought her. I've only been really going local. So when I set off on Saturday morning, my anxiety was through the roof, I must admit, because you've always got that fear of breaking down or something happening. Probably just me overthinking, but you know, when you're buying a new car or any new vehicle, you've got to sort of like get to know it, and you've got to bond with it, I suppose. And so you've got to know its capacity, you've got to know its limits and its maximum limits. So this has been really, really good, and she drives like a dream. She really, really does. Yeah, so I'm absolutely over the moon with her for a first camper van. I can't wait to go out on more trips and adventures. Things you've got to consider, excuse me, sorry, is that when you do buy one, you've got to allow money for things for when they go wrong. You know, I was lucky in that I saved on the budget that I had, so there was more money in the pot. So for peace of mind, I got things done. Like I got a cam belt changed, I got a new battery for her, I've got a little bit of welding to do on the inner wing, because where the old battery had leaked, unfortunately, it had gone down onto the inner wing and it had rusted and corroded it. So, but I've got a good mechanic, and he's been really brilliant, and he doesn't charge me the earth. And yeah, so you've got to be prepared as well that you're going to need money to maintain. You know, a tyre on this wouldn't be cheap. You know, I haven't looked into it, but I would say at least 130, 150 pound for a tyre for it. An exhaust for it would be quite expensive. So you've got to have that to bear in mind. So yeah, what other things to bear in mind? Obviously the fuel. She's diesel, so not too bad actually. The on the way down, I had probably a quarter of the tank already still in it, and I put 40 quid or 30 quid in it, and it took it up to nearly over three quarters full. And by the time I got to Cheddar Gorge, it was back down to quarter again, and I put another 35 quid to get back to where I am now, and it's still half full, so that's good. And because it's diesel, it does, as you know, anyone who owns a diesel, it does last longer. The fuel consumption goes a bit further. Another top tip that I got as well from my mechanic is that get some fuel injector fluid. I didn't know about this until he told me, but it's just a small bottle. Chuck half of it in your tank, whether it's on low or full tank of petrol or diesel, and it cleans out all the muck through all the lines and all the filters and everything it needs to go through, and it just helps to keep your engine cleaner apparently, which helps keep it maintained. So there's all these little tips and advice I've been shown along the way. So yeah, and so it is maintaining it is the key, I think. Excuse me. And she is an old vehicle. She's 26 years old. She's in really good nick, really, for her age. A few little bits and pieces on the bodywork that I've got to get done, but I'm quite confident to get that done myself. Just a little bit of filler here and there, rub down a filler and just respray where bits of the paint have flaked off. I've also, in the bathroom, at some point it's had a knock, and it's pushed the window out of line a little bit. The window's not broken itself, it's just it pushed it to its side, so I've had to remove it, but now I can't get it back on. So at the moment, it's just being held on with a bit of duct tape and inside. So that's something I'm going to look into when I get her back. Just get all those other bits and pieces done and concentrate on getting the things that aren't working on the interior. I know a few people I've spoken to recently, friends, etc., who are all thinking of getting a camper van or motorhome, and my advice is absolutely do it. It's just so amazing. It just opens up another world and the freedom to go anywhere, and there's lots of places that you can park up overnight for little or nothing. So if, you know, rather than sitting in front of the TV on your iPhone or whatever, jump in your motorhome, even if it's just drive down the road and park up in front of a beautiful field and have a cup of tea. You know, it's just lovely. It's another home on wheels. But I would also say that, you know, research, and also when and this is something I've learned, you know, and I've been advised, and in that is to, if you do find one you look that you're quite interested in, always ask for the number plate if it's not shown in the picture, because you can check on the government website, putting in the registration number, and it will bring up what its MOT is, how many advisories it's got, if any at all, and it looks at previous history of MOTs as well, what work it's had done. So yeah, that's a good indicator. There was a few things on this that, if I had spotted it, would probably be able to get the price down a little bit more, but it was my own fault. I've just got excited, and, you know, so there was a few things I've discovered that actually I could have actually knocked that off the price, but hey-ho, you know, it's just a learning thing, isn't it? So yes, that's the inside. If you're still interested and not bored and gone to sleep just yet, I'll just give you a quick tour of the outside. So yeah, because I'm going to be putting this on YouTube as well, because when I was researching this particular make, there was hardly any videos of it, and so I did find a couple, but I thought, well, do you know what, I'm going to put a video up, because it does help people who are looking for a campervan motorhome where you've got you can look at the interiors and the layouts online, because it's a bit difficult to decide that when they're just photographs. So an actual tour is much better. So I'm in here, see that knock there, that's just, I don't know, it doesn't bother me, but yeah, it's made the window wonky. So in here's your cassette toilet, so obviously that unlocks and you pull it out and then you take it to a chemical waste unit, and that's your 240 volt hookup, which is going under my van because it was couldn't reach otherwise. And then that's just an air vent for your heater. So this is the rust, not the rust, but this is the paint work that's peeled off. So I've bought some filler. I shall rub that down, put the filler on it, rub that down again, and then put some primer on it, and then spray the whole door, not just that patch, because to match that colour, because I know it's white, but there's different shades of white, believe it or not. So, but I don't mind because it's only a door, so I should just spray it in white. Probably make the rest of it need doing, but yeah, the tyres are really good nick. There's hardly any tread in these, so they've like not long been replaced, I don't think. Yeah, so yeah, and then around the other side is this is a spare wheel. Again, that's brand spanking new, so that's really handy. It's my neighbour's. That's where your gas cupboard is. You unlock that and that's where your gas is kept. This is for the water tank. Now I'll explain about the water tank because I mentioned earlier that I don't put the water in it. Right, so the reason being is that tank takes about 20 litres of water, which is weight. So, let's put some lights on, it's getting dark. Which adds weight to your vehicle. When I first got it, I was filling it right up to the top. And then I had a leak. And I was like, oh my God, where's that coming from? I felt the carpet down here was quite damp and I didn't know where it was coming from. But what I'd done is I'd overfilled the tank, and it feeds another tank, which is where your heating tank is here. So your water tank's under here, then there's a pipe, and then which gives you your hot water. So it works on like a circular system of heating your water up. And I'd overfilled it, and I found the source of the leak, and it was just drippings very, very slightly because I'd overfilled the water tank. So I don't bother with the water now because I've got my walk canister. When I wash up, I just boil a little bit of hot water in the kettle, and then I pour some of the water they've got in the canister there, wash up, and that's all I need it for. I'm not showering in here. So yeah, so I don't bother filling up the water tank at all, really. When it comes to like washing and stuff, well, if you're staying on the campsite, 9 times out of 10 they have got a shower, so use that. But if I'm just overnight staying, then you just go back to the old-fashioned way, like when you was younger, you used to only have a bath once a week. The rest of the week was like a strip wash. So that's what you do. You just do your business, and that way. The only thing you haven't had to been able to do is wash my hair in the sink, but I came up with another idea, another hack, and that is I put some water in a bottle in the sunshine, which heats it up, and then I go and find a drain or a sink somewhere, and then I wash my hair in it. So yeah, you just get around things, or you've got dry shampoo, whatever. I only wash my hair 3-4 times a week anyway. So yeah, so anyway, that is Valentine, and I hope I haven't bored you too much, but it really is for educational, tutorial purposes, which I'm going to put on YouTube, and just thought I would share it with you in the meantime. So, excuse me, I've got a tickle again. I'm just getting over a cold, so a little bit of a tickly cough. So, yeah, so I thought I'd just give you a little whistle stop. Well, it's not whistle stop, it's 44 minutes long now, but I thought I'd give you a little update of Valentine's interior. And we will update you soon on any further adventures. For now, it's over and out.